All right, good morning, folks. Sheepdog Smokey here as always. Thank you for joining in. Please make sure that you go on and subscribe because I am trying to grow the channel and I am actually planning a giveaway for 500 and 1,000 subscribers. At 500, it will be a choice of either 1984 by George Orwell or Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. At 1,000, one of each. Now, getting into this is actually, sorry about this. It's basically a message for the Democratic Party. We've had 3.5 years of crying and moaning and wailing about the Electoral College. But now that we're into the Democratic primary, the hypocrisy is on full display. The Electoral College is very simple. It is based on population. However many people you have determines your seats in the House of Representatives. Proportional representation. California naturally has more people than Rhode Island or even South Carolina. It's just the way it was set up. However many people you have in the House of Representatives, that is how many Electoral College votes you have. The Democratic primary is so convoluted as to make the Electoral College look like a simple one-person, one-vote thing. There are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of delegates. There are super delegates that can override the whole thing. If you don't get 15% of the vote, you're just kicked out and none of the votes matter. It's amazing to me that we don't get anyone, except maybe Tucker or Judge Jeanine or Hannity or Levin, talking about this. And that for that 4 or maybe another 2 or 3 on top of that, talking about it out of the, 100 or so talk show hosts we have, is astonishing. Because it's literally a case of, you will do what I want and only what I want, and I will change that from moment to moment. The Democrats don't want a one-person, one-vote system to choose their party's candidate. They want a jerry-rigged, convoluted mess so that they can come out and say, well, the results weren't clear, but here's what they actually said at the end of everything, and they're going to use it this time to shoehorn Joe Biden onto the ticket, likely with Hillary Clinton as running mate, or just some figurehead like Stacey Abrams or Pete Buttigieg. They know they don't want Bernie because he will alienate half of their party. So they're going to screw him over again. They're going to lose again. And when they lose, they're going to say, but the Electoral College is racist. It's not racist when they do it in their primary because, this is to choose among our own people, not among the entire country for president. It just amazes me that people can think that that's okay, but they do. The next level of this, though, is Mike Bloomberg. Everyone is saying Bloomberg is a Republican who is switching parties for the good of the country. They're calling him a Republican. He's not. He's a rhino. He is as liberal as they come. He is as hypocritical as they come. He was actually asked to his face why he wants to disarm law-abiding citizens when he is guarded by the very weapons or more advanced weapons, possibly full auto, not semi, by his own security. And he'll never answer the question. He was point blank asked, do you think your life is worth more than ours? And he'll never answer the question because he knows to answer it and lie and say, well, his people would be disarmed when they won't, will destroy him, and he knows the truth will destroy him. But Bloomberg has been a good little rhino for the last many years. So why is he not calling out the hypocrisy? And the simple answer is he thinks he can game the system. He thinks he can spend a few $100 million and win by buying the primary in the election. He's all but admitted that he bought seats in the House for the Democrats in 2018 to give them a majority. It's the height of arrogance. Then you have just more and more of the same. They campaign on these promises that they know they can't keep. It's a broken record. And we're even seeing things come around that haven't been seen in almost 30 years. Elizabeth Warren is refusing to drop out of the race, and she's literally become Ross Perot. You have a candidate who could win in Massachusetts, her state, where she's going to lose horribly. But because she won't drop out of the race, she is splitting the vote between herself and Bernie Sanders, who I don't want in the White House, nor do I want her or Joe or Bloomberg or any of them. But she's splitting the vote who doesn't want Biden into factions so that Biden will have a majority. I'm still not convinced that Ross Perot didn't know exactly what he was doing in 1992 when he was in, out, in, out, in, out. I mean, for crying out loud, SNL parodied it perfectly because they had Dana Carvey literally interrupt the show throughout the entire broadcast with his Ross Perot. I'm back in. No, I'm going to drop out. No, I'm back in. And he did it just probably 20 or 30 times over just that one airing. And that was literally Ross Perot in the 1992 election. And he successfully divided the Republican Party so that Bill Clinton won. He went home to his life of luxury. And he went home to his money. And he never had to worry about a thing. But that brings up the next point of hypocrisy. We've heard since the election was called in 2016 that we don't want a rich old white man to run the country. Yet who are the two people who will end up duking it out for the Democratic nominee and the one who won't give up? 3 65, 70-year-old or more men, white, millionaires, one of them a billionaire. When it's Donald Trump, we don't want a rich old white man. When it's a Democrat, they don't care. You see, it's the mindset of, I'm not racist, I'm liberal. I'm not a hypocrite, I'm liberal. I'm not a bigot, I'm liberal. You're a conservative, you're automatically those things. I've had people scream and hurl insults and just horrific things at me when I ask them, oh, why are you supporting a rich old white man if you don't want a rich old white man in office? And I get told I don't understand that Biden is not a rich old white man. He's so much more than that. He cares. The man cannot even remember what state he's in, what office he's running for, the Declaration of Independence. He says he became a professor after leaving the White House. He's never taught a class. He goes on these just dementia escapades, talking about how kids wanted to rub his hairy legs, and how he was arrested trying to visit Mandela and negotiated a peace conference with the man who was dead at the time. And nobody says a word. And the answer is very simple. The answer is a mindset. It is a mindset of entitlement. You are not allowed to disagree with me. I am right, and you may not tell me I'm not right. That is what has led to 3 years of the press just mocking themselves with how wrong they are at every turn. It's what's going to lead, what I believe, to the end of many journalistic institutions. We're already seeing several newspapers losing so many readers. Vox famously had to fire almost half of their staff, I believe, because they weren't making enough money after that very staff mocked minors with learn to code, and then Twitter suspended people for telling those people to learn to code. It's got to stop. I don't care if you're a liberal or a conservative, independent, middle of the road, fence sitter, libertarian, whatever. I care that you are a hypocrite. I care if you come to me screaming and yelling that I'm a racist, monstrous Nazi because I don't vote for Democrats, when the Democrats are the party of the KKK, the party of trying to oppose every civil rights legislation attempt in the 1950s and 60s, the party that opposes you having your Second Amendment rights, which will then lead to losing your First and your Third, Fourth, and on and on and on. The party of, I want to run this country so that I can let everyone in, give them voting rights so that I maintain power and your life goes to hell. And part of me wants to believe what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from certain people. There are several people that I read their blogs, I follow on Twitter, I watch their YouTubes. They believe the Democratic Party is going to implode this year. And you'll still see people hang on to the name, but they will be few and far between. Because we're seeing a party of we don't want rich old white men, put 3 rich old white men up on the ballot. We're seeing a party of tax the rich and socialism and everything free and don't ask me how I'll pay for it. Just go further and further and further to the left. I have friends who are, compared to me, very, very liberal, and they are just so disillusioned by the crap they see from the Democrats that they don't know where to go. They won't vote Republican, but they can't vote Democrat. And they don't see just the problem with that mindset. For crying out loud, Mike Bloomberg admits it every time he has a rally or gets on stage anywhere. I'm running to beat Donald Trump. Can you imagine walking into your boss's office and saying, I want to get this job? Well, why? Because I want to take them out of that job. Not proving they're not doing their job, which nobody can with Donald Trump. The economy is booming. Terrorists are running scared. The border is being secured. Laws are being enforced, and so on and so on. So not going to someone and saying, listen, here's all the failings that I can point to and prove, and here's how I would do better. No, it's literally the platitudes of, I'm going to defeat Donald Trump, orange man bad. Go back and look at very early 2015 and before. Donald Trump was not a far-left liberal. I would say he was a middle-of-the-road, a fence-sitter. He had some liberal policies in his life, he had some conservative, and he had some in the middle. Democrats loved him. They wanted to go to every party he held. They begged him for money when they were running for office. But as soon as he declared he was running for president as a Republican, he instantly became the most evil being ever to be created. They would vote for Lucifer himself over Donald Trump because he dared to oppose them. This is not your policies are bad. This is not we need to raise, not lower taxes. This is how dare you not be a bowing and scraping sycophant. And that is going to ultimately destroy the party. And we're well past the time that should have happened. And close to 70 years ago. Now, almost pushing it, 1963, so almost 60 years ago. John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Today, ask your country to give you everything for free. My grandfather and my great-uncles fought in World War II to defeat the National Socialist Party of Germany. One of them died in France, 8 June 1944. A paratrooper from the D-Day drop, scattered by bad winds. Another came home with a bullet in each leg, one from North Africa versus Rommel, one from D-Day invasion. I have, I believe, one, if not two, great-uncles that stayed in after World War II for a career. I know I have one. Spent 20-some-odd years in the Navy. A big portion of that, starting in 1950, was the Cold War, fighting against the USSR. It wasn't military, it was economic. Ronald Reagan was a genius with Star Wars. Nothing was actually done, at least in terms of, spending lots and lots of money. Yes, we developed new forms of surveillance, and we had satellites and so on and so forth that prompted the USSR to spend itself into oblivion. By the time 1990 or 89 came around, George H.W. Bush was able to say the wall has come down. All because Ronald Reagan made it happen. Yet today, we have monumental morons all over this country who believe socialism, a program that under Pol Pot, Chairman Mao, Stalin, Chavez, Castro, and currently Maduro, has killed millions upon millions. But they believe they can do it right. They're quite literally the person holding a fork to an outlet and somebody says that doesn't work, and they go, no one else did it right. It saddens me and it frightens me. And it should you too. But I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to share the video to widen the audience, subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications. Again, at 500 subscribers, you have a choice of 1984 or Brave New World. At 1,000 subscribers, the winner will get a copy of each. I'm trying to grow the channel because I believe that I have an outlook that I can share and I can help people by sharing. I can shed a different light on certain things. And I want to do that. And the best way I can is right here. And I just need the people to watch. So that's where growing the channel comes in. Again, please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.